Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Kemi, and I'm here to talk about Beyond the Gates Season 2, Episode 118. Now, before we begin, make sure you guys are liking, subscribing, and turning on your post notifications so you'll know whenever I post. All right, so we start the episode off with Kat packing up her stuff because um, she's getting discharged now and she wonders where her parents are. They wouldn't miss her moment of getting out of the hospital. Tomas tells her that he told her parents that he was going to bring her home um, and that she didn't want a crowd. He assumed that she wouldn't want to be overwhelmed or whatever. And he asked, did he make the right call? She says yes, but she looks sad. And this is another reason why, like, he knows how much she loves her family. And even if, because he is surprising a party for her or whatever, he still could have had her parents there or something. But the fact that you would, it's just all convoluted and just shows that he don't really love this girl the way he's not paying attention to her the way he should be paying attention to her. And it just shows to me that he really doesn't love her the way she deserves to be loved. Because, yeah. Anyways, so we see Vanessa and Joey. They're back from their trip. So from I don't know how the timeline works because I know we had a week break and I can't remember if the week break was before. I'm gonna have to look at it and I'll probably tell y'all in the next episode or in my next video, or maybe I'll just look at it now. I can't remember, but there was a week break. Like we had a week of repeats. So I don't know if I can't remember if it was between the episode that I between episode 117 and 118. I don't know if that's when the break was or if it's going to be after this week. I can't remember. Let me check because the way that the timing of all of this was just really weird. Not weird, but it was just like, wait, what? Huh? So yeah, so yeah, okay, so yeah, because the episode 117 was the last June episode, and then we had a week break. So now we're at episode 118, which is the July 6th episode, which is after July 4th. So yes, this was after the week. So I guess that's where the confusion is. So based on what's going on right now, Joey and Vanessa are back from their Napa trip. So the last episode that we did, they were planning to go on the Napa trip, and now they're back from the Napa trip. So they're he wants to do lunch with her, but she can't because she has plans with Deanna. We see Deanna, she is at the club and she's talking on her she's talking to the picture of her and Doug, and she's telling him that she knows what she got to do. She knows what she got to do or whatever. So we see Darlene. She's at the police station. She's looking for Elon, but he had a meeting. She asked Jacob about Eva, and he tells her that she's getting released today. So we see Eva. We see Eva and them. They're at the waiting area because they're getting ready to discharge. Leslie is giving Shanice back her scrubs or whatever. Kat gets wheeled out and she sees them and she's just like, oh my goodness, because she doesn't want to deal with them. Not Tomas, but Isaiah sees her, and he takes the balloons from Eva and he pops it so that he gets everyone's attention. Tomas and Kat get on the elevator and Eva sees her, and then they acknowledge each other, and she realizes what's it called, what's this man's name? She realizes what Isaiah was doing. So her and Kat nod at each other as the elevator doors close. Isaiah, Eva, and Leslie, they leave. Shanice calls Ted and tells him that both of his girls have been discharged. So we go back to the police station, and oh, sorry, before we go back to this police station, after Shawnee's called Ted, we see Ted and he's at Anita and them's house, and the family is gathered in the house and telling them that Kat's on her way. So we go back to the police station. Darlene is asking about Eva and Kat. Malone is listening in. Jacob is going to go to the Dupree's for the welcome home party. He invites her, but she has things to do. He tells her that he'll let Elon know that she stopped by. We go to Anita and them's house, and um we're all over the place here, so I'm just gonna show this one picture. So Ted is thanking Anita and Vernon for including him, and ask if Tomas told them anything about a proposal. He They're shocked. Nicole comes over and tells them what it was, how he asked for her hand, and how he wanted to have alone time this morning. So they don't know if he proposed this morning or not. They don't know if he's done it yet, but they don't think it's right. They like him and all, but not marriage yet. Anita agrees with them. Nicole says the tornado gave him perspective. She thinks that the tornado gave him perspective. Ted says Kat will make up her own mind. So we see Danny. She's talking. We see Danny, Nicole, not Nicole. It's Danny, Andre, um, Naomi, Chelsea, Smitty, and Martin. I was about to say Smarty, but we see them. They're all talking. They're asking about where Tyrell is. It's his senior trip day. They just got back from the Bahamas. And again, this is why I was confused, because it was just like like last episode, they said that they weren't going to go to the Bahamas until graduation. So I'm guessing graduation was a couple days after that episode. Then they went to the Bahamas, and now they're back. So I'm guessing we're 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks since then. So I'm guessing that they've been in the hospital this whole time. That's a long. Well, I mean, they did do major surgery, but anyways, so Tyrell is on a senior trip with Jessica. Naomi asks, "Didn't y'all just get back from the Bahamas?" They talk about the grad pics, and it was a gift that Andre gave to Tyrell. Chelsea says Tyrell a model in the making, or he did really good, his proofs were good. Then Naomi says he's a model in the making, and Danny is just like, I'm not gonna take him away yet. Let him do his I'm gonna let him live his college life, and then I'm gonna get him. Then they ask about where Samantha is. She said, Naomi tells them that she is sorry she went with June to do her first mammogram at the free clinic or whatever. So we go back to Joey. He wants to know what made the change. Indiana. Vanessa doesn't know. Vanessa tells him he's skeptical about it, but Vanessa is choosing to be hopeful. Joey doesn't believe it. She tells him she leaves to go meet Deanna, and he makes a call. So we go back to the Dupree's, and Ted, Martin, and Vernon are talking about what's been going on these last few days. Martin says he couldn't miss today after how he treated Kat. Ted wants to know what happened. Ted tells him that they're gonna work it out in their own way. They see Nicole with Kyle. Vernon says he's gonna introduce Martin to Kyle since he's never met him. Andre comes up, and Ted says, and he says, no, Andre comes up to Ted and tells him it must be weird seeing Nicole and being in the house. He says he says all he feels is gratitude. He does admit that he was resentful earlier on during the split, and it was just like, sir, you had no reason to be resentful, but whatever. But he's glad they've redefined their relationship and how they showed up for Eva. We see Danny is telling Anita about how her interview, that how she's telling Danny's telling Anita that her interview is still touching people to this day and is making a difference and an impact to people and serving its purpose. Um, and it's probably what led Kat to do the transplant to someone she doesn't like, and they're both an inspiration. Naomi is telling Chelsea that she should have told Kat about what Tomas was planning to do. Chelsea doesn't agree. Smitty comes up. He wants to know what's going on. They tell him. Chelsea says it's not her place. Smitty agrees with her. He just hopes he can. He just hopes. She just hopes that he figures out on his own time that the timing isn't right. Naomi looks. Naomi says, look at where we are. He planned a whole party. Smitty says, so you think he's going to do it today? We see Malone and Jacob, they're talking about the impaler and how the case has stalled and all this other stuff. So we then see Tomas and Kat come into the house and they all yell surprise. Kat is happy. The family welcome her home. Naomi said, she goes in, they go into the house. Naomi says there's no ring. Chelsea says, see, nothing to worry about. Kat talks about Shanice giving Ted a heads up. And he says, she'll be here later. Tomas brings her water. Ted goes to the cellar to go get champagne for the toast. Kyle and Tomas shake hands or whatever. So we see Anita and Vernon. Anita is telling Vernon that she didn't see any ring on Kat's finger. Danny overhears and wants to know what's up. They tell her about it. Andre lets on that he knew. Danny wants to know why he ain't say anything before, and how long has he been holding on to this. And he tells her, you got your own secrets. And she's looking guilty, and he's just like, you won't even tell me where you hide the presents. Vernon says, she can hold on to a secret, and she missed her calling. She could have been a CIA agent. So we see Eva, Leslie, and Isaiah. They're back at her place. She wants to know whose luggage is on the table. It's Leslie's. She had put her homecoming gift in there because she couldn't wrap it. It's ski boots. Leslie wants to take her on a first ski trip. Once she's healed, it'll be a new experience for them, and they can't wait. So we see Vanessa and Deanna. They've done their spa day. They talk about the last time they did this. Deanna says she's going to do better. Vanessa is glowing, and then she asks about Joey. We see, and I don't have a picture of it, so do I? No, I don't, but it is what it is. So we see Randy meeting Joey. So he's the one that Joey called. He gives him an assignment. He wants to know if Deanna would remember him. He isn't sure, and he tells him, well, Deanna's the job or whatever. So we go back to the family, and Martin says he can't get past Tomas sleeping with Eva, even if they were on a break, which they weren't, but whatever. Smitty says, but Kat forgave him. It has to count for something. Martin says Kat opinion is the only thing that matters. So then we get Vernon gets everyone's attention. He wants to give the toast. Tomas interrupts him, and everyone is looking like, oh no, it's about to happen. Don't do it. Kat tells him, we don't interrupt we don't interrupt Granddad. He says Vernon will appreciate this. Chelsea is shaking her head like, no. I'm not gonna lie, this scene was funny. It was funny. The way Chelsea was just like, on board. Like telling him don't do it. And he just la 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 la, like, sir, you don't see everybody's face around you. But he says all the things that he loves about her, and then he proposes to Kat, and Kat looks shocked. So Darlene shows up at Eva's place. Isaiah is shocked. Eva invites her in and thanks her for visiting them while she was there. Leslie comes out of the room and she hopes that the kind streak continues. She brought over some soup, cornbread, and lemon bars. She asked if there's anything else that she can do. For her. Eva says she's okay. She has Leslie and Isaiah. Darlene says they love her very much, and then she speaks life into her. We go back to Jacob. He's pissed again because he can't get a break in the case, and he feels like he's missing something. Malone says, I'll take a look at it for you. Jacob says okay, and then he realizes that time is going, so he has to leave, and Malone tells him, I'll call you if I see anything. So we go back to Joey and Randy, and he's telling Randy he needs to gain Deanna's trust to see if she's really had a change of heart, or if she's trying to get close enough to find some dirt on him and take him down to use against him. Joey wants to know if this would be an issue for him. Randy is just like, it's Doug's daughter. That was his best friend. And Joey is just like, basically, I don't care. You need to do this. You need to find out what she's up to before it's too late and it goes too far. So we go back to Vanessa and Deanna. Vanessa doesn't want to talk about Joey. Deanna plays it off and asks if he's involved in the the real estate business, she tells her not really. Deanna wants to work at the office for the summer. Um, but she didn't know if she could handle seeing him every day. Vanessa is happy to learn that she wants to know about the biz, and then they hug. So we go back to the Duprees. Kat is at a loss for word. Vernon wants to give them privacy, and he suggests that they all go out to the back. But Kat says, "No, you guys stay here." Her and Tomas will go. They go to the foyer to talk. Once they walk out the room, Martin says, "Ouch." Smitty says that gotta hurt, and Chelsea is relieved. And Naomi says, "Well, she can still say yes away from watchful eyes." And Chelsea is just like, "I hope not." So we see Kat and Tomas. She wants to know what Tomas was doing. He tells her. She says you put me on. She says you put me on a spot. He says that's how it goes. Kat says Kat wasn't prepared for this. They haven't even talked about it. He says, "What did you think I meant when I said I wanted to spend? I want that you were my future." And she says, "Yeah, down the line, you didn't even want me to move in with you." He says, "At the time, you were making a knee jerk reaction to Chelsea and Madison." And I wrote, "And now you're making a knee jerk reaction to almost losing her." But whatever. He tells her he wanted to do it in PR, but being surrounded by family seemed like the right time. She wants to wear the ring, but not now. Can he hold on to it until they both are sure that's what they both want, and not because they are scared? They're scared straight because of tornado. They need to both be excited about it. Doesn't make sense. He says, "Sure." She wants to know if he's upset or embarrassed. He says no. They hug and they head back to the family, and Tomas looks sad. So we go back to Isaiah and them. Isaiah thanks Darlene for stopping by. She invites him and Eva to come have dinner with the family, and tells him to think about it. She leaves. Leslie says she's glad she came and went. And some people don't know when it's time to leave. Eva says you are. She says they sure don't. She's just like, "Oh, you talking about me?" And she's just like, "Well, I don't have no soup." And Isaiah's just like, "I'm already packing you something to go." So Eva tells her it's time to go. She leaves. Isaiah and Eva kiss. We go back to Kat and them, and Kat comes in. She thanks the family for coming, and they'll invite them to the real deal. Chelsea, Naomi, and Nicole give her props for handling it well. Andre talks with Tomas and says he should have listened to the ones. Tomas says he should have listened to the ones who told him not to do it. And Andre says it's okay. Embarrassment runs in the family, and talks about the Vegas wedding. Jacob and Shanice show up, and they ask what did they miss, and they're just like, "Should I tell them or you or whatever?" So we go back to Vanessa and Joey. She's happy. She tells him about Deanna, that Deanna wants to work at the office. He says it's a bad idea. She wants to know why. He tells her he doesn't trust Deanna. He tells her that he can get her a job at Uptown. Vanessa wants to reconnect with her daughter, and she's gonna let her work at the shop. So we see Leslie. She's meeting Malone, and she thanks him for checking on Eva, because again, when he was eavesdropping on Jacob and Darlene, he went and text Leslie to try to get back in her good graces or whatever. I guess I don't know, but they talk about making plans to have sex or whatever. So we go back to Eva and Isaiah. They talk about the ski trip and how Eva was surrounded by love the whole time she was in the hospital. They kiss. Then we go back to the family, and Vernon is ready to get back to his speech. They make a joke about Tomas interrupting it initially. He gives his speech about Kat and how she's what she did and all this other stuff. And then they ended with to Kat we love and we are proud of you. Sorry, y'all. I keep looking back at something. My bad. But yeah, that was the episode. Make sure you guys are liking, subscribing, and turning on your post notifications so you'll know whenever I post. I'm catching up. I promise I'm catching up. Make sure to get down in the comments. Tell me what you guys thought of this episode, and I will see you guys in the next one.